On today's episode, we go over some new prospect rankings and what to look forward into 2023 down on the farm. We tell you about a left-handed pitcher that is dominating in winter ball. The Cubs recently signed, also a possible reunion with an old friend, and then how much would it take? Here we go.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cubs. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Thursday episode, the second to last show of 2022. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. On Friday's show, we'll wrap up the year that was and our debut since the 5th of July on this very program. But today, it's going to be a lot of prospect stuff and more as Sam makes the shift into his new place for the new year. That will be starting with next week's shows.
Yeah, which I'm not
Sam,
in. By
where
the way.
are you right now? What country are you in? And excited to be with you here.
Yeah, I'm at my mom's. Internet's coming on Friday or possibly tomorrow. So maybe if all things go well, we do the show tomorrow night from the place, but most likely starting next week. I'm tired of being the second best looking guy in this program. You're going with AirPods tonight with our beautiful gift from the Walkers that you still haven't given to me yet. And it's being second best sometimes when there's only two is difficult.
Okay, well, thanks for the compliment if that's what that was. So we're going to lead off with some prospects here as the Cubs are now 10th in baseball, according to MLB Pipeline. Crow-Armstrong, 30th overall individually. Brennan Davis, 48, and Kevin Alcantara slotting in at number 86. Just over the last few months, really since we've done this show, Sam, first, just your general thoughts on where you see the farm right now.
Yeah, I think 10th is a little bit underrated. And I think that's one of the reasons, just tying back to our show on Monday, why there's not going to be, or Tuesday, why there's not going to be a huge amount of big trades, because I think Jed values this system more than the experts do. And Matt, think about it like this. If the experts have him 10, that's what the GMs are going to go by as well. I think there's some really high-level prospects that a year from now, that ranking could be cut in half. Could be a top 5 system in baseball if all things go well. So I think 10 is fair. But if you're following these guys every day, I mean, the Lindsey Crosby episode, the way he spoke about some of these guys, I think, he said at the time, he goes, I think it's a top 10 system. And I'm telling you now, I think a year from now it could be a top 5 system.
Right. I think a year from now, you could subtract 9 from that number. It might be the best system in all the land. But maybe that's just my optimism flowing. So
it's the hat.
We're going to examine 3 different categories here in which we're going to list probably 4 different players, depending on how each of us take this. We're going to go over untouchables in the Cubs system. And so that would probably be players with extremely high value that are highly rated. We're also going to go over X Factor, which I look at that with a major league lens, like who could be an X Factor that's now a prospect but could graduate this summer.
Sure.
And then who are you excited to watch or keep track of in 2023? We're going to pick one pitcher and one position player.
Okay.
As far as I can tell right now, the Cubs have one untouchable, and that is Crow-Armstrong. Jed Hoyer making some of his first trades really in his career as the solo host of his show as the Cubs president of baseball operations, absolutely fleeced the Mets in July of 2021, acquiring PCA for Javier Baez, Sam. And PCA initially was hampered by those injuries, but he played a full 2022, and fans have fallen in love with him.
I don't like to use the word untouchable because if Shohei Ohtani is available and they're in love with PCA, he's going to be on the next flight. So I don't
That's
like
true.
I don't like using that word, but in this case, not to be overly nitpicky, yes, he'd be the one guy I really don't think, unless the deal was just the absolute Barry Bonds of home runs, or an absolute can't miss. Yes, they have one guy that Jed right now is saying, I really, really, really would like to avoid trading. X and X equals PCA. Oh, yeah. Kick
Oh,
it back to algebra.
Wow, maybe I'll put that in the thumbnail title.
Yeah.
What was that? X plus X equals PCA?
No, that's just going to be X equals PCA.
PCA, right. And when he does make his debut on the north side, which I could see in spring of 2024, we'll see how 23 goes for him, knock on wood. He will be the first really high leverage center fielder the Cubs would have had in years.
Yeah, since
player that is plus defensively, that can absolutely go get a baseball from the central field position. And, excluding Cody Bellinger, they just signed a couple weeks ago. We've been dreaming of Dexter Fowler in 15 and 16.
Well, and it's pretty obvious, to your point on being untouchable. They went after Cody Bellinger and signed him to a 1-year deal because it's a rental for Bellinger. It's a rental for the Cubs. Why is it a rental for the Cubs? X equals PCA.
PCA. Wow, man, you are a genius with some of these phrases, man.
No, I'm not a genius at all, actually.
I was talking to a good friend of mine, Jeff, today.
Shout out Jeff.
He was bringing up your diet soda stuff.
Oh, sure.
Which was great.
Give me, Matt. You know what? Can you just give me one quick second? Speaking of diet soda, I'm actually having a little. No, this is a joke. Don't worry. Speaking of diet soda, I'm having a little dinner here. Mr. Mancini, can you pass the pizza, please? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, we should start a new segment. Where in the world is Trey Mancini? Yeah. I mean, who's this guy going to sign with? The Pirates?
No, well, you missed out on Abreu. You missed Hey, you know what? Speaking of diet soda, somebody just walked in the door. Oh, my God. Hi, Tucker Barnhart. How are you? Join us. We have enough food for you.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Sorry, go ahead. So now what? X Factors or something?
Yeah, X Factor and PCA is going to be the 2024 center fielder. But you know who might end the year in center field in 23 for the Chicago National League players? That's going to be Brennan Davis.
Yeah. Is he an X factor? Is that
maybe you see Bellinger at DH, maybe throw some innings at first. But I think Brennan Davis, as this team builds and wins more games this year, I think I could see him being a surprise in terms of a big league graduation.
Yeah, I don't know how he would grade out defensively there, but I don't think I see him always in a lot of trade proposals that I get from our wonderful listeners. And I always say, I'm not sure Davis is the guy you want to trade because his value right now is the lowest it's been in a while because he's been battling injuries and the back surgery and things like that. I'd love to see him have a massive first half at the AAA level. And then he either becomes, he comes to the big leagues like you're saying, or it could be an X factor in the sense that he brings back a superstar. So,
wow.
For me, my X factor has been and continues to will be Alexander Canario. I mean, it's the obvious Kevin Alcantara, but you're saying kind of at the big league level soon. I could see him having a nice cup of coffee with this team later in the season, and then pitching wise. This might surprise you. I am not throwing in the towel X factor wise in terms of helping this team this year with Caleb Killian. I know his cameo this last year outside of his first start, it was dreadful. He didn't throw his breaking ball and he had no command, but he was really good at the minor league level. That could just be a little hitch in his giddy up. You always heard Theo say, progress with these guys is not linear, right? Meaning it doesn't just get better, better, better. There's waves, especially for pitchers. And, I would take a look at him because when you look at the rest of the pitchers, Matt, Ben Brown, Horton, Wicks is a guy that you could put under this list. But a lot of the pitchers are a little bit younger. Hurts. I'm interested in Killian. I mean, we know about Wisniewski. He's going to start the year on the team.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
But Killian will be a guy I have my eye on.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I look forward to seeing how he does. And in terms of Davis, hopefully he arrives at Sloan healthy, starts the year with the I Cubs, and we'll see what happens from there. You already mentioned this name just a minute ago. I got a pitcher and a position player I'm most excited to keep track of. My pitcher is going to be the 5th-ranked prospect in this system, according to MLB Pipeline, and that is left-hander Jordan Wicks out of Kansas State, the former Wildcat. I think Wicks could make his debut in 2023. What level he finishes with the club, I'm not sure, but perhaps that's as a piece or even a major piece in the bullpen. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Wicks could do. And then my position players, Sam, I want to remind everybody about this 20th ranked prospect in the system. This is Theo Epstein's final first-round pick ever, and that is Chicago native Ed Howard. Howard, who started shortstop on the Jackie Robinson West Club that advanced the Little League World Series in 2014. Howard was 16th overall in that 2020 draft. He's a legit shortstop who's very advanced defensively for his age. Plus base runner, offensive tools developing. Unfortunate that he had that season-ending hip surgery last May, but I think he's poised for a big 2023.
Yeah, my two guys to watch. I've already said them, so I'll just repeat. The one I want to emphasize is Cade Horton, because here's a guy that some experts said the Cubs reached for with their pick. Some people said it was the steal of the draft. Here's a guy that just came out of nowhere in the College World Series. And the reason why you keep an eye on him is if you followed me here the last 2 weeks, I've bored you to death with my floor and ceiling connections here. Here's a guy that raises the ceiling of your entire organization, because sure, there's tons of downside with him, but if the upside pans out, you're talking about a frontline starter. And so, I am really interested to see what he brings to the tables in the minor leagues, wherever level he begins at. With his fastball, with his slider. It's electric. He was a late bloomer, like we talked about. And this is a guy that, I think the ceiling is really limitless, and it will be fascinating to follow because the Cubs need guys like this.
For everybody at home, let's rewind those names and maybe jot those down and keep track as the 2023 season gets here in no time. Coming up next, we reveal a left-handed pitcher that the Cubs signed last week who was dominating this winter, the Dominican Winter League. Also bring up a former Cub who's now on the market and more. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every pro and amateur league out there. From football to basketball to soccer and esports, they've got it all at betonline.net. They're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Oh, it looked like you're going to say something.
Oh, yeah, I am. Let me just close up shop on this prospect thing, because I think we all, and rightfully so, have gotten caught up in the free agency and the on,
too much.
the big league team in 2023. It is just as important to win in 2023 at the big league level as it is for these 6, 7, 8, 9 guys to continue their development as well during this quote unquote retool and rebuild. So don't forget about those guys. Yes, it will be annoying when we lose a 4-2 game randomly to Pittsburgh, but it is still really important to check that score and make sure that Canario got a double in the right center field and that Horton's missing bats and that Wicks is making progress,
Yeah.
because that's all part of this plan.
That's a great reminder. I look forward to do my box score hunting once again. So last week, the Cubs signed Roenis Elias to a minor league deal. Right now, he's currently starring in the Dominican Winter League with a current streak of 37 and 2/3 scoreless innings. I really just want to inform our listeners on Elias, fastball, curveball, changeup guy. The reason why this is intriguing is just because of his pure dominance at age 34 right now. Granted, it's in international ball, and he's almost exclusively been a relief pitcher in his career with both the Mariners and Red Sox. But since August in the Mariners system has been starting, including in this Winter League run. So I am curious how the Cubs could use him. Makes sense that he would want an opportunity to start, since that's what he's been doing now the last several months. But as of right now, the Cubs only have one lefty tabbed in the pen, and Brandon Hughes. So maybe Elias could continue his streak here and be one of the lefties to open the campaign on the north side. So we'll keep tabs on that.
Do you know who has the longest active scoreless, or the longest active streak at the big league level, shutout innings in a row?
Oh man, in all of baseball?
Yeah, but he's not currently playing, the record.
I
I'm
don't.
almost. Yeah, I think it's Oral Hershiser.
Really?
I'm gonna confirm
He's
that.
turned out to be a nice broadcaster. Oral
Yeah, he is.
Hershiser.
He is very good.
Wow, what a name drop there.
Yeah, it's going to be Oral Hershiser over 59 innings.
That is so impressive as a starting pitcher.
1980, yeah.
Any pitcher, but what
year?
year?
I would actually argue it's harder as a reliever because you're coming in at different times.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
and you have less chances to accumulate that run.
Yeah, because that's almost, for some relievers, that's like an entire season. 59 innings.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
You slip in, you give up a base hit in the 5th inning, and then you get pulled and there's 2 outs, and then the next guy gives up a double down the line. There goes your streak. Guy scores and you're done.
Yeah, that's going to be it for that streak.
Yeah.
The other news and note here on Wednesday.
Good riddance to Stella, huh?
Is Tommy La Stella was DFA'd by the Giants. Hey, come on.
Yeah, see you later.
He was excellent in 2019 and 2020 with the Angels and A's, which he turned into a 3-year 18 M's with the Giants, and could not finish out his deal in San Fran. Not sure if there's a fit with the Cubs, just with the glut of infielders right now.
No.
But I'm not going to dismiss an invite to Sloan if that's what they do. But
I'll dismiss it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, think about it. If you're unless
let's play infield roulette.
Yeah, unless you're going to replace Madrigal or McKinstry,
right,
with him,
or that guy from the Rays that sounds like a side dish,
or Mastrobiani. I mean, an invite to Sloan, sure, to come to a game. We got enough average infielders that have no power.
Oh boy, yeah, maybe he could sit with my dad and my uncle Mike at Sloan.
Absolutely,
this March. Wow. All right, well, that's some news and notes from Wednesday.
See ya.
And coming up next is going to be how much would it take for the first time in a while, including on some background decor for a certain co-host of this program. Stay tuned. Welcome back into Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. To finish out today's show, we are going to play a little bit of how much would it take to close out. So, Sam,
when you open the show, and you do your little, your bit that Carson did that you do wonderfully, for, bringing our passion to you. I am going to start in the beginning of the show, bring our passion to you. And then you're going to see me an aggressive point.
Oh,
when you do
good.
that. Yeah. To
Yeah.
you, the listeners.
Yeah. It'd be nice if you could like contribute a bit to that intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, here we go.
Boy, I hope Swanson hits 32 homers. We need
So
some
yeah,
pop
me
on
too.
this club. Jeez.
Well, I did want to go over a list of items that I have for you for your new background.
Yeah.
When you
Sure.
get to your new place, I'd like to know how much would it take to put these back there.
Yeah, this is a good thought.
Okay, so I gotta. Admittedly, I feel a pretty good list. So
I'm sure it is.
What would it take to have maybe an art display with some pictures?
Yeah. How much would it take?
What would it take to have maybe some books
Yeah.
or
Okay.
or a plant or two?
Mm-hmm.
Or how about a lava lamp? I thought of.
Well, can I answer it? Or
Yeah,
are these,
sure.
Are these rhetorical? Or
Well, this is a combination, I think.
oh, okay. Art would probably. I would do art for probably like $100 because I'm getting some pictures that are not sports related because I don't want to have a nice young lady comes over and she looks at and she sees Messi and Cubs stuff everywhere. It'll be like that scene in Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon where there's Red Sox. So that scares women away. You'd like to at least admit that you have some sort of life and balance, even though she'll learn probably in the next 6 days that I don't. But yeah, I'd like to have that. So art, maybe $100. Books, you'll probably see some books. I have a lot of sports books will be on display. A book about Kobe, a book about Messi, some Cubs books, of course. Lava lamp, you'd have to give me $500 to do that.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd be into that.
No, I don't. I'm not.
And
quite sure. I'm not quite sure what that is, but if I think what it is, no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not 12.
And are you gonna have any greenery back there? Maybe like a house plant?
That would be $500.
Okay, wow.
You said someone wants to send me $500. I'll have a cactus back there.
Okay. All right, very nice. Well, I just wanted to kind of take some stock into that. So, is there anything Cubs related or not that you actually do desire for your new background?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Is there anything Cubs related or otherwise that you would actually want back there?
No, so the way it's gonna work, I'm gonna have a couple of Messi things scattered around, and then I'm gonna have a couple Cubs things, but that's gonna be in sight for the listeners, and that's what it is. Can I ask you how much would it take?
Yeah, it's usually how this goes. Yeah,
and please comment below with the number for this question. Boy. Seriously, please comment below with the number for this question. How much would it take for you to go to the Bears finale?
Wow.
And I don't know what the weather's going to be. Let's assume
right. That's a factor.
No, let's assume 30 degrees. I'll let you think. I wouldn't go for less than $1,000.
I was going to say 500.
I mean, what a snore fest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most of the starters probably won't even play in that last game. Yeah, so I mean, to watch Nathan Peterman and company in the cold, I'm going to say, yeah, about $750.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. $1,000, maybe you'll be able to buy a pretzel with a side of cheese.
Yeah, or just take maybe the bus over to the game. Boy, you have to take out a loan these days.
Yeah, right.
So I'll look forward to that movie, Arlington Heights, and maybe being good again one day.
Yeah, no, sure. I think the Bears will be pretty good, probably right around, I don't know, the next 2030, 2031.
Be sure to hit the subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube. We made it over 2,000 earlier this week, so we're very
did we?
Thankful for that. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll be doing a giveaway soon. I got to figure something out.
Maybe a Swanson jersey.
Yeah, maybe a Swanson jersey. We're not cheap on this program.
Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods on the audio side, and drop us a text or a voicemail, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. How about your second listen, Locked On Sports Today? Host Peter Bukowski brings you the biggest stories from around the sports world in 20 minutes flat with the latest analysis and opinions before anybody else, local, national experts as well. Locked On Sports Today, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy, and this has been Locked On Cubs.